Have you and I ever talked about understanding the different stages of magnesium and determining when the best time for you to soak in is? I want to touch up base on that today. So let me know if you have questions, comments, thoughts. I'm really good at squirreling to other topics if we need to. Let me introduce myself. My name is Kristen Bowen. I'm a magnesium advocate. I have been tracking women soaking in magnesium and how to achieve cell saturation over the last 20 years. I've got 20 years of data to fine tune the process, to shorten it, to make it easier, to make it incredibly effective. I don't know about you, but I'm busy. Tracy, it's so nice to have you here. Welcome. Okay, so there are stages of magnesium soaking, and it's not like you'll be in one stage and then you'll go to stage two and then you'll go to stage three. You might sometimes go back to stage two or go back to up to stage three. I thought if I define those, that might help you determine when the best time for you to soak it. And this these are not exact to everyone. So your experience might be really different. And if it is, I would love your feedback for you to tell me what your experience was. I've taken this as I've tracked over the years to just help me, like, oh, this pattern happens a lot. Oh, this one is happening a lot. But that doesn't mean it's how it happens for everyone. So you ready? Let's go. The first stage typically is you soak in magnesium and you get super relaxed to the point of, I have got to go to bed. I am so tired. Oh, I love that, Tracy. That's exciting. So exciting. That beginning soaking is so exciting. And so in that stage, well, personally, for me, you do you. I wouldn't want to soak in the afternoon and then just be fighting all the relaxation that I got and wanting to go to bed. And I definitely wouldn't want to do that in the morning. The beginning, it's usually best if you soak in magnesium before you go to bed. Doing that helps you relax, helps you get a good night's sleep. But back up a little bit, the last couple years, this has started to happen more and more and more. And that is, people don't get just relaxed, they get exhausted. I'm not a doctor, I'm not diagnosing, and I am not telling you what to do because you know you better than I know you. And you are the CEO of your health, and you're the one that gathers information and then makes the decision, filters it through your own experience, and then move forward with action on that decision. I'm just sharing some thoughts. How's that for a nice little medical disclaimer? In the beginning, if that happens to you, there's relaxation and then there is, I can't move my limbs, I'm exhausted. Typically, when that happens, it's a potassium issue. When there is that potassium issue, and this is a very oversimplified way, but I want to give you a visual. If you're low in magnesium long enough, your potassium drops also. And when your potassium drops, that movement in your muscles isn't happening, that connection that happens. So you soak in magnesium, you've been low in magnesium for a long time, your potassium might be low, medications that you're on, you're not getting enough potassium in your food, or some other reason. So you're already low in magnesium, you're low in potassium, which means your cells do not have voltage. Please understand that. When you're low on magnesium, when you're low on potassium, you don't have voltage for your cells to work. And if your cells aren't working and if they don't have voltage, I don't care what supplement or what or medication that you throw at your thyroid, it's not going to function. Building that strong foundation is my goal, and magnesium is the first step, in my opinion, to building that foundation. You've soaked in magnesium, you're already low on potassium. Your body gets so excited to pick up the magnesium that it runs over to pick the magnesium and it drops the potassium that you had. And if it's low, it drops it lower, creating absolute exhaustion. That's not the goal. That's not the goal at all. I always say magnesium shines the light on what is happening in your body. And typically, when that happens, it's potassium dropping. The best way to get your potassium up are a couple of different options. So let's throw those out. We're taking a little squirrel already, and then we'll get back to those 3 stages. You can add some baking soda to water, like a quarter teaspoon of baking soda to a half a cup of water, and drink that. If you're having to do that all the time, though, you're eventually going to drop your hydrochloric acid. And if your hydrochloric acid is low, you will not uptake and move your magnesium red blood cell numbers. Some people could take that for a week and be fine. Other people could take that for 2 days and it would cause consequences in dropping their hydrochloric acid even lower than what it was. And so it's not a this works for everyone kind of solution. You have to make sure that that's an appropriate solution for you to take the baking soda. If it is, it's a super fast way to pull it up and have that like I can't move my limbs feeling, and that's out the door with the baking soda. Another great way for some people is to drink some coconut water. And coconut water, oh, I've got something in my eye. I'm so sorry. It's making it that I can't blink. Sorry about that. Oh gosh, this is not good on the live. This is not my plan. Gosh, I'll turn so it doesn't look like I'm poking my eyeball out. I don't know what's happened there. So when you drink that coconut water, it's a very easily absorbed whole food potassium. Some people that's not going to be appropriate for if your blood sugars, if you've been low long enough in magnesium, and then we start getting to the point where insulin is not penetrating the cell and you're not managing those insulin numbers, that coconut water may not be a good fit for you. It might spike your blood sugars too high. And if you have lost the ability to balance your blood sugars, then coconut water wouldn't be the thing that I would reach for first. Another way that you can quickly bring those potassium levels up, and it is a synthetic way, and some people cannot tolerate it, and that is to take cream of tartar. My mom used to have this cookie recipe, and you had to have cream of tartar. Was it Snickerdoodles? Oh, I can't remember the name of the cookie now. Anyway, and you had to have cream of tartar. That cream of tartar is synthetic potassium. And in 1 teaspoon, it has about 500 milligrams. And you can mix a teaspoon of water and drink it. And that will raise your potassium levels quickly. And for many people, that will benefit them. Some people, though, when they drink the synthetic potassium, it rips through their stomach. I can take up to 1,000 milligrams of the cream of tartar in one drink and be fine. I know some people that cannot, though. You have to know where your body's at with taking that, but it's not going to spike your blood sugar. So for someone who's worried about blood sugar, that might be a better option. The next option is grape juice. Grape juice is a source of potassium. Again, that blood sugar comes into play though. And picking the best way for you is important if that's happening. Cream of tartar, most people have in their kitchen. Well, at least I do. I don't know, do you? I assume most people have it in their kitchen. It's really easy to throw some coconut water, just a bottle of coconut water in your fridge. Oh, I love the Harmless Harvest coconut water. That's my favorite. My Costco carries it. I don't know if all Costcos do. You can get it at health food stores, but the price is better at Costco, at least locally for me. And having that on hand can also be very beneficial. And then again, I think most people, maybe not, but most people have baking soda. So there's some options on what you can do to pull out of that absolute exhaustion, because relaxation is one thing, but exhaustion and not being able to move and just feeling like you're just like sludging through your day, we don't want that. There is a more not extreme, that's, well, let's see, that's not the right word I want. There is a more detailed, let's use that. There is a more detailed thing that you can do if that's happening, and that is if you have gone long enough with low potassium, low magnesium, stress, you can have, and there's other situations also that can create this situation. You've been on Prilosec or something like that. Your hydrochloric acid levels are low. If your hydrochloric acid levels are really low, then that's going to stop the uptake of magnesium also. And so we've got to go about balancing the hydrochloric acid levels. And a simple way to do that is a betaine with pepsin protocol. Not appropriate for everyone though, if you have ulcers. So do you see how you have to customize it? You have to make it work for your body, but exhaustion is not what we're looking for after soaking in magnesium. We want that relaxation, and that's stage one. You get very, very relaxed. And when you're relaxed, we still have a ways to go. Now, the relaxation is great because you're going to sleep better. I cannot tell you, I live here right now, currently in Cache Valley, and this is where I started living the good life naturally. And so there was a lot of thiokol people, and they have to wake up. I don't know if it's even called that anymore, but they had to wake up at like 3 o'clock in the morning to get into work. To work there. And I would tell them, if I knew that they had to get up early the next morning, I'd say, don't soak in magnesium when you have to be up at 3 o'clock the next morning. So many people will report back, I slept so deeply, I slept through my alarm. That happens to many, many people. And that's good, but it's stage one. And it means we have a long way, not a long way. We have a ways to go. We have a ways to go, and we have some stages to work through to build up to optimal benefits from magnesium. The second stage of magnesium is when you soak in magnesium and all of a sudden you get this flood of ideas, and you're thinking about things, and you're laying there in bed going, I should be asleep. I should be asleep. What is happening? And we don't want you soaking at nighttime if it's waking up your body. Now, the wake up is good, right? We want your body to be awake. We want that flood of creativity and ideas and energy happening, but we don't want it happening as you're going to bed. When that happens, It's almost like I think of the adrenals like going stop, start, stop, start. They're surging a little bit. And in depending on how intense it is for you, you can experience frustration of, oh my gosh, I felt so good yesterday, and now I'm tired again. And the only thing I've changed is that magnesium. We're walking up, stepping up the rungs of that ladder to get to optimized. And it's your body turning on and then not having the voltage to keep it on. Hang in there, hang in there, hang with me because we're getting closer. And if I could just be this little person that pops out when you open the box of magnesium, you probably don't want that. But if I could just help people understand that stop start means we need to focus on voltage, magnesium, potassium, salt, so that your energy can become balanced. So you're tapping into it. It's starting to be created, but we need to make sure it's a smooth, even run instead of that stop, start, stop, start. And oh, Tracy, I'm so glad you're hanging in there. It it can be so frustrating if you don't have the background to understand what's happening. So that stop, start, stop, start. Again, magnesium shines the light on what your body's needing. And that stop start means we have got to focus on potassium, magnesium, and salt. Salt pushes water into the cell. When you are more hydrated, magnesium is more efficient. And just because you drink all that water during the day does not mean it's going into the cell. You need that voltage to push hydration into the cell. And that stop start, we've got to focus on those things, getting whole food potassium, maybe supplementing a little bit with potassium if appropriate for you. It's not for my husband. That's not a good fit for him. And so again, that's where you've got to customize it, listen to the feedback to your body and determine what action step. And remember, some of your action steps, you may do the action step and then go, oh, well, that didn't work for me. Well, instead of being discouraged, I would cheer you on and say, you never have to try that again. You know that doesn't work for you. So you've like taken that out of all the possibilities of what you need to focus on, which to me is just as exciting as turning an action step over. I think of it like a rock. It says rock action step, which just kind of doesn't fit. Anyway, you turn it over, and to me, having it not work is just as exciting as having it work because you're starting to weed through the process and make the journey shorter. Is what I did over 20 years ago when my health crashed is I would do the action step, wouldn't get the benefit, and I'd go, oh, nothing works for me. I've tried so many things. And my voice was probably about that whiny. Nothing works for me. Getting healthy is so expensive. I tried all these things and nothing works. And then I'd give up for 6, 8, 12 weeks. And then I would come back to it. And guess what? My brain would use the evidence of what didn't work to show me that it wasn't going to work, even though I was starting again. Again, it's that start stop process. So at that point, mentally, we're holding ourselves back because your body says, oh, yeah, remember when you tried the cream of tartar and it made your stomach sick? Yeah, that didn't work for you. Didn't work. This isn't going to work either because part of your brain wants you to stay exactly the same as you are right now. And so it's going to keep you safe to stay exactly the same. We have to override that with the frontal part of our brain and say, hey, it didn't work, but now I know it didn't work. And I'm stepping into this action step and I'm going to determine if it works for me. And that can be another area that there's a real disconnect. Remember, connection helps us hold on to our magnesium and keeps our burn rate low. That connection piece can be a tough one right there that people give up on and go, oh, I can't do this. The next stage, and that one, you just have to determine how often you're going to soak in the start stop and how much you're going to focus on maintaining the voltage in your cell with salt, magnesium, and potassium, and determining what's a good fit for you. Some people will add electrolytes that have salt, magnesium, potassium. And some people will do it through food. There's just so many different ways to do that. And again, you do you. Make it work for you. And then determine, did this work for me? Did I just make my pathway shorter? Or do I need to go on to the next stone along my journey? Then the last stage is you can soak in magnesium anytime. You can soak in the morning. You can soak in the afternoon. You can soak late at night right before you go to bed. And your body has built a trust factor with you. I used to tell my kids, how's our trust bank? Are you doing what you told me you do? Are you following through with things at home? Because if you're doing that at home, I have more of a trust factor that you're doing that when you're outside of our home. And that built my trust bank with that person, in this situation, my kids. You're building a trust bank with your body by giving it a consistent flow of magnesium. And so in stage 3 of magnesium soaking, you're building that trust factor and you're saying, hey, body, I've got you. You do a lot of things for me, a lot of things, and I appreciate you. And I'm giving you this mineral that doesn't heal everything. I'm not saying magnesium heals everything. It is the action that starts the healing process in everything. And I'm giving you a steady supply of this magnesium. And at that point, when you've built that trust factor and you've built that voltage and you're continuing to give your body the magnesium that it needs and the salt and the potassium, and you build that trust factor, your adrenals start to balance out. And it doesn't happen overnight. Some people it happens in 2 weeks, and some people it takes a year, year and a half. It depends on your mental stamina with it and the mental energy that you put into. And it also depends on your follow through with keeping magnesium, potassium, and salt balanced in your life. That is the foundation. That is the foundation of all healing. Whether you're focused on autoimmune, brain health, gut health, hormone health, ATP energy production, it, no matter what you're focused on, your cells can't heal without the voltage. That's the foundation. That's where we build. And it will take a little bit for you to determine how much salt you need, because your salt needs and my salt needs are completely different. My salt needs from my husband's are completely different, even though most meals we eat together, you would think they were the same, but they're not. And so you have to play with that salt need. How much salt do you need? Some people might, have some edema or swelling in their legs. They've got to be really careful of their salt and and figure out a way to work around that but still keep some salt in their system to drive that water into the cell. And at that point, we start building that trust bank, and you've maintained this voltage to your cell for longer than 2 weeks. You've maintained it, and then here's what starts happening with just focused on that. You're not worried about all the other things out there. You're not finding all the supplements and all the perfect foods. You're just focused on voltage to your cell. As you maintain voltage, many of your symptoms will go away. just by doing that. Now, it's not going to make everything go away, and it might just be a few little things that go away. But then we don't have to find a supplement because we've built a strong foundation. We don't have to go in search of something because your body has its basic needs. It's got them. And so it's taking care of itself. It's starting to heal itself. And if you add, if you want to, if you're okay like being a superstar and adding morning sunshine and some walking to your voltage, oh, people, I have so many emails and letters and notes and private messages that have said, Kristen, I'm doing less, but I'm healing faster. And it's because in doing less, they were able to focus on their voltage and walking in early morning sunshine. And we can't always do that. For example, I'm not walking here in Utah in the morning. It's too cold. Sorry. Some people do, and that's great. I'm not doing it. My body is adjusting from coastal breezes to bitter winter in Cache Valley, and I'm not going to walk in the morning. I do an indoor walk, but I'm not doing it outside. I do go outside to capture that morning sunlight, and that morning sunlight is the OG of reducing inflammation. And I do a walking routine in in my home where I'm living, and I walk. And for right now, that's the best for me. Is it the perfect situation? But we don't have to have perfect situations to create optimal health. We don't have to. We take our own situation and we adjust. When I'm back in my home in Morro Bay, California, guess what? I have a pretty much near perfect situation that I can walk out on the beach every single morning and get the morning sunshine and get the crashing waves of the beach. And for me, the negative ions that just bring my cortisol levels down. I don't have that right now. And so I'm not going to beat myself up or say, oh, I can't do anything because it's not perfect. You're just going to take the situation and make it work for you and celebrate the fact that you're making it work for you. That's a healthy attitude and a healthy woman to make it work and to be flexible. And as you do that, you'll notice you have less to work on while you add those things. Let's see. Will you notice a big change when your body is healing? Tracy, it really depends on your vagal nerve tone and how regulated your system is. One of the things that I wish I would have known sooner with my crash, because my crash was 3.5 years of a non-existent mom with young kids, and it really took a toll on my family. And I wish I would have understood about nervous system regulation. And that's why here at Living the Good Life Naturally, it's not going to be just soak, soak, soak. I also want you making choices that regulate your nervous system. As you do that, you soak less, which gets you out there living and creating and doing all those beautiful things. And it makes the magnesium more effective. If if you're in a dysregulated nervous system, it's going to take a lot of magnesium, like all the time, to keep you at cell saturation. And I want that to come with more ease. I did not know one of the signs that I was dysregulated was the fact that if someone came up behind me or if something startled me, my kids would say, Mom, we couldn't tell if you loved a pair of shoes or if you came across like a car accident that was awful. My reaction was the same. That's the sign of a dysregulated system, which means I was burning through my magnesium at a very high rate. Soaking in magnesium, maintaining cell saturation, keeping that voltage and regulating your nervous system, in my opinion, is some of the most important things to start. And you don't start it all at once. you add a layer upon layer upon layer, and you figure out, how does this layer work when I'm on the road? Or how does this layer work when my life gets really super busy? What does this look like for me? And so you're playing and adjusting and building that relationship with each layer. And then that way it becomes a habit instead of something you do. It's just a habit, and it happens because it's that habit. And so how long you've been dysregulated, Tracy, will determine, because that determines your vagal nerve tone, and that vagal nerve tone gives feedback in your body. Some people will not notice the benefits, but their magnesium red blood cell numbers improve substantially, but they won't feel it, but they continue to do it because they see on the blood work that it helped. Some people will feel the benefits the first soak, and it absolutely varies on your vagal nerve tone and your inflammation levels, in my opinion. And remember, I'm not a doctor, just sharing some thoughts and things. To take a lot. Oh, I've been very sick for a long while. I had been too, Tracy, and one of the things that I've learned is how powerful I am and how powerful you are. And one of the things I wish I would have done, and I still consciously focus on it now, is to watch the words I say, because they create my experience. For example, if you think it's going to be very hard and very long, then your experience will be that it's very long and very hard. Now, not don't, keep that balance. Don't take that to the extreme. We can make it easier by the thoughts we think and the words that we articulate. That would be a fun class to do, maybe. I don't know. I think it would be an interesting class to do. And so really, like, saying something like, I'm on this journey and I'm learning along the way. If we take help and put it as an end destination, people don't ever reach it. They don't ever feel like they're there. You're creating healthy moments every single day. That attitude makes that pathway that you recognize the things that you're doing. I hope some of this helped. Did any of this help? Tell me what your most powerful takeaway was. And while you do, I want to share with you this idea that I had. So I send out the Good Life Journal. And one of the things that has happened in the business with the growth of the business is that I have to, before, if I saw a problem, I could pull something together that day. I could either get online or teach a class or set up a class, and I did everything, and so I could do it. And I had the freedom to do that and help what I saw and hopefully make a difference. Now, and I'm grateful for the growth. It's tied my hands in some ways. It has to go through so many processes and so many people, and does it fit on the calendar, and did the graphic design person do this, and did the IT guy do this for the website, and do we have the email workflow set up? And I would, anyway, it just, my hands feel tight sometimes. So I had this idea, and here's my idea. Because I love being in a group of women and having a similar focus and then learning together. So I was thinking, before, my classes have been paid unless it was the magnesium soaking parties, and those were free. But for example, I've always done a closing ceremonies at the end of the year, and it was a paid class. There's not enough team right now to set up the workflow, set up the email sequence, set it up in Shopify, get the graph, just it has to go through so many people. What about if, and I can see how it might frustrate you, But what about if I just threw it out to my email newsletter and said, "Hey, I'm going to be on at 2 o'clock today on Zoom. Come join me if you want to do some closing ceremonies with me." Now, the downside, there wouldn't be handouts and, I wouldn't send a follow-up email, all that kind of stuff. It would just be, and you might not be able to make it, and that might leave you frustrated, and I can see how that might frustrate some people. But if I did it like every month, maybe one time or two times a month or three if I got super organized, because it's my passion and it's what I love to do. My husband calls it soul work versus bread work. And bread work I have to do. I have to meet with the accountant, I have to do that stuff. But soul work for me is connecting with people and then coming up with solutions and sharing what I learned from my journey. And oh, I'm so glad you would love that, Tracy. And so I don't know, we've got like other people on right now. Would it frustrate you if you couldn't make it? Or would you think, oh, I'm going to keep an eye out for the next one? And, "Oh, she's going to do this again," because I can see how it might frustrate a lot of people, and then I get a bunch of emails because I think the email newsletter goes to, like, 35,000 or 40,000 people. Maybe, I don't know, maybe anyway, it goes out to a lot of people, and I wouldn't want people to be frustrated, but I can't do any classes at this point, and that's what I love. That's what I love doing. I love sharing what I've learned and being in a group of women and creating together. And not that I'm leading because I'm working on my own stuff, but I share with you what I'm doing, and then you customize your journey for you while we're hanging out together in the class and we're there supporting each other. Oh, yeah, I don't know where, Kelly, I don't know where he got that from. I think it might have been from a dear friend, Paul, who is a permaculturist. He might have gotten that concept from them. So it might have been in a book or something, I don't know. It's not my husband's original concept. He does bring it up a lot. Did you get any soul work in today? And last week, I was in meetings back to back all day long, Monday through Friday. That is bread work. And it leaves for one very Kristen by the end of the week. And I've just been wrapping my head around it of how 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 can I do that in a way that I'm doing those things that I feel like make a difference for people and light me up and get me excited, and that I'm helping people more because I feel so disconnected from what I used to do. Um, oh, you wouldn't get frustrated? You just look forward to the next one? Would it frustrate you if I just said, "Hey, I'm hopping on," and didn't have, um, like, we're doing exactly this? Because my favorite thing, and the times that I feel like people have walked away from classes really creating change in the class, like not waiting to do something after, but they've created, is when we start and we just interact and connect. And then I create what we need to in the moment. That's my favorite way. And I would love the freedom to be able to do that again, of just sending out an email and saying, "Hey, I'm about to hop on and we're going to talk about this. Join me for the whole thing. I don't know how long it'll be. We'll go until, I don't know, maybe sometimes it'll be 30 minutes, maybe sometimes it would be an hour and a half. I tend to be a little long-winded. And so you could get off when it wasn't serving you anymore. The other downside is there wouldn't be a recording. I wouldn't send out a recording, that takes more team doing things, and so it would just be a live experience. Oh, and let me tell you about this. You would absolutely have to have your video on. You would get bumped out of the class if you didn't. It needs to be a safe space, and you don't show up to a class invisible. You show up to a class, and not that you have to, I mean, I might come straight from a workout. Not that you have to be dressed up and presentable. And I think sometimes we can buy into that with Zoom, like, oh, I've got to be, all ready for people to see me, but just come as you are. But there has to be a presence there that people know who's in the classroom. So that's like a non-negotiable for me. Um, anyway. Oh, is there a way we can pay for a consult to get questions answered? Christina, there used to be. And with the growth of the business and all of the things that need to be done, I no, not right now. There's not. And this is the other thing I was thinking, is that if I send these out to I will not put them on social media, will not. When I do that on a Zoom, you get people that are just there to be unkind, you get people who are there to be gross, you get people there leaving comments about my physical appearance and why do I wear anyway, ugh. So I will not share the links on social media to a Zoom, but sharing it to the email newsletter, and then we'd have time for some Q&A, and we could just dig into it right there. And that's my favorite way to do it. The other downside is when people sometimes it people take things for granted, and then they expect like that I would be able to answer every single question, and I wouldn't be able to do that. Well, I might be able to sometimes. If it's just a small class of 3 or 4 people, then absolutely we could. But if the expectation grew that, oh my gosh, she's going to answer every single question, I and if it got bigger, I wouldn't be able to do that. Anyway, those are some thoughts, and I would love to know if that would interest you. And I'll be asking a lot of different people, and your feedback will determine if we do that or not. I would love it. I miss interacting with people. I miss hearing what's working for you, what's not working for you, and making those connections. Oh, you're very kind, Kelly. Incredibly kind. Let's see this next one. Oh, okay. Mariella, is that how you say that? That's a beautiful name. I'm not sure I'm pronouncing it correctly though, so help me if I'm not to pronounce that. I'm really leaning toward it happening. We're having some issues with the Good Journal that goes out, and it's not landing in your inboxes. It's being sent, but it's not landing. We're working on that right now. I just hired someone who is an expert at getting those emails to land, not just land in your inbox, in your spam, but to land where you see it. And so we're working on that right now. Anyway, those are just some of my thoughts. Um, oh, it sounds like your husband. Oh, more than anyone. Oh, that's really kind. That's very, very kind. Okay, so did anybody share their takeaway? Is there a way? Did anybody share their takeaway? Let me see here. I answered that one. Let's see. Oh, that's very kind of you to say. I'm really wanting to do it and kind of wrapping my head around how to make it work. Okay, did nobody share their takeaway? Okay, now see, oh, let me tell you this. So this is what happens in and oh, first I want to preface it. This is not a shame throwing out guilt. In a class, I want to tell you my perspective. in a class, when it's a paid class, people get on and they participate. And that's what feeds the creation of the class. And if there's not input, it's really hard to create a class that is a stepping stone toward a healthier you. And in a like right and oh, I don't want this to be a shame thing. There's so many places we could have gone if you would have thrown not how I don't know how to do this and not anyway, the interaction is what creates that community. I would love to know what your takeaway was. So I'll throw it out there one more time. I'll throw out my ask. And in a class, to really create, you need to have that give receive cycle open. And sometimes is what can happen on lives is it's just give. But when it's that give receive, that's what opens the door for connection and creativity. And that's what creates in every area of your life. Your financial abundance, you have to have your give and receive cycle open. Your health, you have to have your give and receive cycle open. And I'm a big believer in if you play a pattern anywhere, you play that pattern everywhere. So if we can be in a class like this, you and we open up that give receive cycle for each other, then we create a higher quality synergy vibration, and it helps both of us to create things with more ease and grace. So anyway, okay. Um, did anybody have a thought on what your takeaway, like, was there a connection that you made during our time together? Uh, did anyone want to share a takeaway? Maybe not. I'll wait for a second. I'll do that. What was that show? Do 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 do. It's totally off tune. Sorry, I'm not a singer. Okay, so let's see if anybody wanted to share. Yes, it does, Kelly. It opens a door. And so for example, that's why I asked, what was your powerful takeaway? It opens a door for me to not only give, but to receive on my end. And you open the door for yourself to connect in your brain a hook of that information so it doesn't become just a dopamine hit. And in my thoughts on that are we just scroll, and we get more and more and more dopamine hits of what we need to do for health, but we never take it in, hook it, create action. And so by people sharing, oh, this is what I connected with, or this is what I'm taking away, this is my powerful nugget of information, you've created a hook for yourself and you've opened that door to giving instead of just receiving during a presentation. So it seems like a little tiny thing, but it is huge. And I have thousands of hours worth of classes that show that. People walk away with an ability, with more ease to create more action, to create better health when they open the door and give instead of just receive when they're on the receiving end of somebody like I don't know if this is really called presenting, but because I just get on. But when someone's sharing, there we go. When someone's sharing, and it's a really important concept, super important. Okay, so let's go here. Oh, I love that. Okay, awesome. Let's see, maybe it says there's new comments, but I can't see them. Oh, I love this, Tracy. This is what I was looking for. That you may need to take potassium when you start magnesium because low potassium takes away the magnesium. Yeah, it's understanding that concept is opening the door for you on understanding voltage. Powerful. This is why we need community. Yeah, Kelly, it is. And community, mm, community that supports. One of the things that can happen is women say they support each other, but then they really don't. And so true support in a community of women is it is it is so powerful, and it makes the journey easier for everyone. My mom used to get her community in her front room when they'd put up the quilting, these long boards that kind of you could jiggle and play long sword fights with. And I remember laying underneath the quilt and listening to the 6 or 7 women around the quilt that were quilting. And that was my mom's community. That's not how I create community. Some people do that, but that sense of community got my mom through hard times. Those women did, because it was a supportive community. Yeah. So, okay. Yes, we do for others. It's great to do what you would like done for us. Giving is receiving, as to receiving to giving out of love and light. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shining light is so important. And Monday we went to a funeral with on my husband's side of the family, and there was someone there. It was a hard day for my husband and I both, for extenuating even outside of the funeral itself. And there was one person there that went out of their way to love on us. It made such a difference. And that person has no idea how much it meant to my husband and I, and in what low spot we were in. And that connection lifted us. His love, him, sharing that unconditionally, loving on us really helped. Yeah. Okay, Kelly says, I heard you say healed women support women. They do. They do. Healed women support women. There is lots of studies. We'll end on this. There's a lot of studies on female entrepreneurs and male too. I tend to look at the female entrepreneur studies, but entrepreneurs have a higher incidence of mental health issues. And being an entrepreneur can isolate you more and cause more mental health issues. And many women, I'll raise a hand here, myself included, you'll go to networking events and, oh, yes, women getting together, but it's actually not supportive. It's a very, my husband called, I get lots of wisdom from my husband. My husband calls it being a clique or being a core. So a core brings everyone in, no matter where they're at. That's unconditional support. A clique, you have to meet the standard. You have to maybe wear this or say this or look like this. And I've found a lot of female entrepreneurs create cliques. They don't create cores. And so when I think of a healed women supporting other women, it's because they're standing in a core of other women that that give receive cycle is open, that door is open, and it flows both ways. And one really simple way to see where your flow is look back, not forward, but look back at how you receive compliments. If someone pays you a compliment, do you look them right in the eye and say thank you? Or do you look down? Oh, no, 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 no. Or maybe you don't verbally say that, but in your head, you've got that on repeat. Or even your physical. Are you pushing that away? Are you kind of stepping away? Are you stepping backwards? Are you ducking your head? Are you losing eye contact? That is a surefire way to tell you where your give and receive cycle is. Oh, there is, Tracy. There's this, it's real and it's different. It's a different level. And we need more women that are healthy, that are creating a core, and that's the community that I want to help create when we connect with each other. That's the community that I'm looking for. And I can't tell you how often someone has been on a live and it wasn't something I said, but it was a comment that someone wrote. And that person will email me and say, when so and so said this, my life changed. And and so there are ways online that we can create a core community just by interacting and leaving comments. And now the introverts are like freaking out right now. Like, oh, I don't like to do that. And I'm you do you. It's not, you know, there's times and seasons of what's appropriate. We can create support, open that door, increase that flow just by the comments that we leave. So for example, when I will not do giveaways how I used to. It just brings out the worst in people. And for not all, but enough. And so now I just at the end, I just pick a couple people and I do the giveaway. And a lot of times people will get on and say, oh, I never win, or oh, I wish I would have won that. And that's creating a click. And so one thing that we can do to help create that core and play that pattern is I'm going to pick a couple people who hopefully are still on, and I'm about to say, hey, I would like to ship you some magnesium. So if you'll tell me for free, and yes, I pay for the shipping too. If you'll tell me if you're in the United States right now, yes or no. So just throw up a yes or a no. If you're outside of the United States, we don't ship outside of the United States. We are working on it, and it has been a project. But right now, we only ship within the United States. So I'm about to pick a couple people to share some magnesium with, but I do need to know that you're in the United States, not outside. Oh, you're very kind, Kelly. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. So Tracy says yes. Serena says yes. Marilyn. Oh, thank you. Thank you. That incredibly kind words. Thank you. I I took them in and I just held on to them. So thank you so very much for that. Okay. Oh my gosh, Carrie Crosby. My mom is a Crosby. Do you know where your Crosby family is from? My mom's a Crosby. I have lots of Crosbys in my life. Okay, so Carrie says yes. Yes, I live in the USA. Okay, as an introvert, I knew when I say that, I always think of the introverts and think, oh my gosh, I hope I haven't added stress. As an introvert, I avoid small talk, but conversations really connects with me. This is some deep stuff. I hope it's stuff that has helped. I hope. So, oh, yes, in the United States. Yes. Oh, please bless someone else. Oh, that's very kind of you. That's very kind. Oh, Lori, I haven't seen your name for a while. It's so good to see you. I used to have a group called Core 7. And Lori, you were in Core 7, weren't you? Seems like you were. Or maybe you just talked about anyway. It's so good to see you. So good to see you. Oh, oh, wait. Let's go here. Ireland, but you're in Iowa. Okay. Ours were from Ireland also. We might be related. We could be related, Carrie. Well, I guess, yeah. Yeah, we could be related though. Okay. Uh, oh, I'm not sure what that's in reference to, but it was very kind comment. Okay, so we've basically got everybody. Oh, you're very kind, Lori. Thank you. Same, right back at you. Right back at you, Lori. Okay, so let's do this. I am going to do 3 people. And I'll do a person that I know that I haven't seen for a long time. So Lori, I'd love to send you a 32-ounce bottle of magnesium. And I'd love to pick a new person. So let's see, let's do this. Carrie, I'd love, I don't ever remember seeing you on a live, and if you have been before, forgive me. But I loved connecting with you tonight. And so I'd love to send you a 32-ounce bottle of magnesium. And when I say I, team takes care of it. So I should say we. We'll do that. And so we've got Lori Riggs and Carrie Crosby. And let's go right here with, I'm not sure how to say this. Oh, is it Retha Van Eck? I'm hoping I said that correctly. And so here's what I need to, in fact, wait, I have to write this down because you know what happens? I'm giving away 3, and we sometimes will have 15 people reach out and say, I want the free magnesium. So I'm going to get really clear in Retha, Retha Van Eck. And so I'm going to write this down. Retha Van Eck and Lori Riggs and Carrie Crosby. Those are the 3 people that I chose tonight. I don't do giveaways, but I do at the end of my lives, for those of you that hung out with me that long. And I will send those names to Shelly. She will be waiting for you. And here's what I'm going to see. I think I can post a comment. Oh, I can't. So if Carrie Reese, oh no, how do I spell that? Oh yeah, Tha. Okay, Aretha and Carr, was it IE? Yes. Aretha would please email hello at living at good life naturally. Oh, did I get that right? Oh, I did. .com and send your first and last name with full address and the date of this live. And Shelly, have any of you met Shelly? She's amazing, like amazing. I don't think Living the Good Life would be here without her. If this, of this live, I got a typo there, of this live, and Shelly will make sure this gets sent to you. All my love to those on the live. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So I had my punctuation off. But I'm using my Grammarly, and I'm going through and adding correct punctuation. So let's see, there's another one I missed. I missed 3. Okay, so there we go. I went ahead and put that in the comments, and I'm hoping, let's see here. Oh, it didn't come up for a while. Oh, there we go. Oh, I messed up on one of them. Oh, wait, I gotta delete that. Okay. So if those 3 people would email Shelly, that's Shelly's email, and send your first and last name with address and dates of this live, she'll make sure that you get a 32-ounce soak. And oh, I love this. Okay, do you see what Marilyn did? Supported. Healthy women support other women. And so what a beautiful, healthy thing that just happened. I love that. I love that. Instead of I never win, she went to a place to lift other women. And that's a healthy habit. Healthy women lift other women. They support. And we create cores, not cliques. Clicks were in junior high. We're out of junior high. Let's create a core and really support each other because there are people out there who need it, who need that core. I need the core. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, all these other people. I need that. I need that in my life. So it was delightful being with you tonight. And I'm taking away the fact that there are incredibly kind people online. And my goal is always in life to meet those incredibly kind person in real life. I don't know how it'll happen, but I always want to. And I want to end in the words of Princess Di. I was very influenced by Princess Di. And I'm a girl from the 80s and the way she dressed, her words, but we all can be kinder to each other. And in the process of doing that, we lift ourselves. And it's like what goes around comes around. You sow, you reap what you sow. And I just think that's a nice thought to end on. It was delightful. Oh, I hope I didn't just clap in the mic. It was so nice being with you tonight. And I would love for you to be a part of the Good Life Journal. You can go to livingthegoodlifenaturally.com and you have to scroll to the bottom and you can put your email in. If you're not receiving those, please reach out to Shelley and she can help to make sure that they're landing in your inbox. We are having some issues with that. And there will be a closing ceremonies going out this month that I'm just going to hop on, do a Zoom call, invite people from the email list to join me while I work on my closing ceremonies. And it's just a way to wrap up the year, leave any baggage in this year, and not take it forward in 2024. It's something I do every year and I absolutely love it. Oh, wouldn't it be so fun to go out to lunch or I don't know, go pick some wildflowers or maybe do a hike? I would love that. Oh, I love that. I love that. Another person that's supporting and lifting other women. And that, my friend, is a healthy habit. Bye-bye.